What is a story that you want to tell but can't find the right Askreddit? When I was younger, I had a ladybug pillow pet when pillow pets were somehow the rage back then. I was once in the airport waiting for a flight that got delayed and I put my ladybug on top of my suitcase. There was another, much younger kid also at the gate and he took notice of my pillow pet. His mom asked me if I could let him borrow it to play and I gave her the go ahead. The kid was immediately ecstatic and started throwing the ladybug up in the air to catch it. He was overall just having a fun time playing while I watched. My dad and I went to walk around the airport to find a place to eat before boarding call and when we came back, we found the kid sleeping on the seats while resting his head on the pillow pet. His mom thanked us for letting her son play with my plush and when we were called to board, she gave back the pillow to me so I could use it for the flight. I hate waiting at the airport and having to deal with the occasional unfriendly traveler. But whenever I go to the airport and have a bad time, I sometimes think about the one kid whose boredom I killed by letting him borrow my pillow pet. Not much, but it's a small story about how out of touch with reality I am when I wake up, so I have an alarm set on my phone for 11 AM every morning. I also have an old alarm in my room that's like half a minute behind. I woke up one morning and looked at my alarm clock and saw that it was 10:59 and thought to myself, no point in going back to sleep, my alarm is about to go off. My alarm was going off already. That's why I was awake. It took me half a minute to realize this when my alarm hit 11 and I still didn't notice my alarm going off. I do the same thing, except I normally have a music alarm just because it's more pleasant to wake up to. So I'll wake up and think, oh, insert song name here, is playing, cool, and just there until I realize, oh wait, that's my alarm. Sure lol, my freshman year of university we had an IM football team and we were straight trash. I'm talking blown out every game without scoring a single point all year trash. Anyways, last game of the year we are down like 35 or something points with time dwindling, but somehow the other team had busted coverage that allowed our guy to get down the field and score a TD. Our team went freaking nuts like it was 1999. Guys on the sidelines running on the field. Guys hugging like we had won the Super Bowl. Guys diving on top of the dude who scored. I'm talking like last second victory in the championship game of an inspirational football movie celebration. Refs were just other students and the other team was pretty chill, so they basically let us finish up our wild celebration and kill like 2 minutes of the running clock celebrating. We ended up losing like 35-7 or whatever, but it was still one of the greatest moments of my freshman year because of how stupid it was. This reminds me of an ex's little brother. He was 6-7 at the time, playing soccer in a kids team. They were beyond bad. One day, after a match, he came home super happy. He was running from the car, both hands in the air doing V signs, screaming his lungs out. I got excited for him and asked him if they had won. As cheerily as before, he proclaimed that they only lost by 12 points, as they had actually scored a goal. The first goal for over 14 matches, where they usually lost by at least 15 points. I fully just read that as this kid being 6'7" and it improved the story greatly in my head. I work at a lumber outlet. My second day on the job, my boss calls me over to introduce me to someone. At first, I thought it was a new employee, so I said welcome to the team, then I realized my mistake. We laughed and started chatting. This man started telling us about different cultures and how most people would consider LA to be overcrowded, but have never been to India, so their frame of reference is skewed. Then he started talking about eating crickets for protein and how he hates the beef industry. Then he took off in his Tesla, which had a towing hitch attached to it. I mentioned to my boss how cool it was to see a Tesla with a towing ball on it, and he said, "Do you realize who that was?" I said no, and he proceeded to tell me that this guy was Brian Thompson, a man who acted in movies with Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and most importantly to me, played Buffalo Bill in Joe Dirt. It was the happiest day of my life. An accomplished actor came to our humble lumber yard, and I mistook him for a new employee. My uncle did something similar to this. Macklemore was filming one of his music videos at the restaurant my uncle manages, and Macklemore asked him where the bathroom was. My uncle replied, "Are you part of the crew? Bathrooms are for the crew only." Macklemore assured him that yes, he was part of the crew, and then was on his way. I'm a white guy that grew up in Asia, so Western pop culture, especially celebrities, completely passed me by growing up. I've met a few Western celebs over the past few years and I've completely blanked them by accident or treated them like normal people. I once asked a famous pop star why she was dressed in a catsuit. When I was like 7, I was making a cake. From the other room, I saw my chubby little cat sitting on the couch. I heard some quiet murmur from under her butt, and then a Keisha song started playing. Turns out she sat on my iPad and somehow told Siri to play Keisha. I can never find a question that needs this story as an answer. My cousin used to play in the NFL. One game, he gave us family passes so we could meet up with him in the players' family tent after the game. Watched the game, went down there, and I had to pee. I remember I had passed a security guard when we arrived in the area and went back to that spot to see if they could tell me where a bathroom was because I couldn't find anyone else that worked there. The security guard was nowhere to be found and I really had to pee, so I followed a long hallway back and the only thing at the end of the hallway was a set of giant double doors. I opened one and started walking into the locker room. Looked up, saw some of the players changing, 1 or 2 in towels, and definitely a couple with everything hanging out. I'm just this little 5 feet 2 inches female that wasn't even wearing a jersey from their team. I had a Pro Bowl jersey on of a player from a different team, and I walked right on into an NFL locker room like it was my business to be in there, and then I walked right on out. Never told my cousin and never told anyone in my family. Was definitely super embarrassed at the time. Now it's just funny. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like for more edit videos in the future.